Thank you for your patience on this case and on this matter. I want to thank Commander Mark Spangler, who's the commander of our Violent Crimes Division here in the Austin Police Department. I'm very proud of the work that's gone into this case so far. And my intent this afternoon is to give you an update as to where we're at on this investigation. As you all know, on Friday evening, November 6th, an individual or individuals attempted to murder Judge Julie Kocurek. Judge Kocurek is not only an outstanding member of the judiciary, she is an outstanding member of this community, someone that I personally know. And for all of us that believe in the rule of law, when you attack a judge simply for doing his or her job, which I think eventually that's what this is going to end up being the case in this case, it's really an attack on the fabric of society. It's an attack on the fabric of what makes our nation, a nation of laws, as imperfect as it is, the best nation on this planet to live on. And I can speak to that because I wasn't born here, and I can tell you that there's no better place in the United States. So we consider this case an extremely high priority, as we do any time someone is attacked without excuse or justification. A person or persons that attacked Judge Kocurek discharged several rounds at her, into her car. Investigators absolutely believe that the assault was an attempt to murder her, an attempt on her life. We absolutely believe that she was targeted for that attack on Friday evening. Judge Kocurek was transported by Austin Travis County EMS to University of Brackenridge Medical Center at Brackenridge. And out of respect for her privacy and HIPAA law, we are not going to release any information on her condition other than to say that she's still with us. We're very hopeful that she'll recover. We're prayerful as a community for her and her family that she recover. She's a tough woman. She is a strong woman. She's a healthy person, and I'm very hopeful that she will recover. But we are not going to talk about her specific injuries and provide any other information on that, other than to tell you that we're hopeful that she will make a complete and a full recovery. Numerous witnesses have been identified and have been interviewed by investigators in this case. We're continuing to identify additional witnesses, and we believe that we've identified folks that probably have really good details as to the aspects of this case, important aspects of this case. We'll continue to work diligently to work with these witnesses to fill in some more of the blanks, and most importantly, to make sure that we gather the evidence that we need to ensure that we bring justice to Judge Kocurek and her family, and more importantly, bring closure to this community so they know that we are not going to tolerate this kind of behavior, this kind of cowardly act on the fabric of society, and that we will bring every resource to bear. Evidence has been collected from the scene and is currently being analyzed by our crime lab as expected, and we're very grateful. Numerous law enforcement agencies are assisting, including the FBI, the Travis County Sheriffs, the District Attorneys here, the District Attorney in Harris County, the Houston Police Department, and the Marshal Service. We believe that we've had some great cooperation and cooperative efforts between all these agencies, and we believe that together with all the organizations involved, especially with the hard men and women, working men and women of the Austin Police Department, we will bring closure to this case. And this what is in essence a targeted attempted murder on our judge. A person of interest is in custody, as reported yesterday. That person is identified as Jamie On'Eri. He is currently in custody in the city of Houston in Harris County. He was taken, has been booked on an unrelated murder charge by the Houston Police Department. I want to just say to the Houston Police Department and the Federal Marshal Service up in Harris County, thank you for just being great partners. We always work together very closely, but I think that it has been seamless. One of the things in law enforcement, sometimes people worry more about the glory than getting the work done, and I think in this case, it has been a case where we're worried more and focusing on where we should focus, which is bringing justice to the victims of crime. Out of respect for Houston PD's separate ongoing criminal investigation, involved in that murder. I will not be commenting, obviously, any further on their case. So for those of you that need information on that, you need to contact Houston PD. Investigators are currently working to determine if an affirmative link to actually establish an affirmative link to the assault on Judge Kocurek can be established. We believe preliminarily that we will be able to put together a link between the individual and her work, but we're not going to comment further until the investigation is complete. At this time, we will not comment on any ongoing investigative efforts that are underway, except to say this: every possible avenue is being explored in an attempt to include or exclude the person that we have as a person of interest, and in an attempt to make sure that we bring to justice everybody that was involved, everybody that was potentially part of this horrific crime, and more importantly, to make sure that they don't have an opportunity to do this to anybody else. To the media, we urge you, and we wanted to let you know that the premature release of information in this case has resulted in some bad information being put out. I'm not going to say what it was, but it's very important that we all focus. We're all part of the same community. That out of a rush to try to be the first ones to put information out, that we don't A, put out information that's erroneous, because that's already happened, or B, put out information that ultimately can keep a family from getting the justice they so richly deserve. If you think about the facts in this case, family members got to see an unarmed woman brutally attacked with gunfire, and I think that family deserves to make sure that we as a community, including the media, which we consider part of the community, that we act in a way, in a manner that focuses on what's most important, which is to bring justice to that family. Because the release of information, again, can be harmful. We are absolutely aware that there is a lot of public interest in this community and communities around the state and nation on this case. What we can tell you is that we have put every one of our units that have any bearing on this to work on it, just like we do in all homicides. If you look at the Austin Police Department, our homicide clearance rate is one of the highest in the nation. We take great pride of that, and I think that as a result of that high clearance rate, as it relates to murder and a lot of our violent crimes, that we're actually the second safest big city in the country as it relates to violent crime. There's reason for that, and I think it's the good work of the men and women of the Austin Police Department. So other than to say that we have a lot of resources that we have brought to bear, that Judge Kocurek is hanging in there and her family's hanging in there, that we do have a person of interest, that person of interest has been booked on an unrelated murder charge in Houston. The case is ongoing. We're not going to say much more, but I do want to open it up to any questions.
How will this play out from your jurisdiction in Harris County? Will he have to go all the way through the judicial system there before he's transferred back to Travis County? Or what happens?
Well, I can tell you that the murder charge, as of right now, is the highest charge, and but doesn't mean that this charge is going to go away if there's another charge with the gentleman's personal interest. You know, remember that he's only been charged with murder on an unrelated case in Harris County. We're not saying that he is the suspect. We're not saying that he's a trigger man. We're just saying that he's a person of interest, and I can tell you he's a person that we're highly interested in. But he will go through that process if he, in fact, is affirmatively linked to our case, and we've developed enough information to charge him. That case will take precedence, but this case does not go away.
Chief, have your detectives been able to talk to him in Houston?
I can tell you that our detectives, our homicide detectives, have been in Harris County in the city of Houston since probably about 10 o'clock last night. They have been doing everything they need to do, but I'm not going to say specifically who they've talked to or not, other than to say that they're working very closely with Houston PD up in Harris County in the city of Houston and with the Marshal Service, and things are going very smoothly.
Kind of a follow-up to Ryan's question. I think when there are competing jurisdictions like there are now in this case, two possible cases, one attempted murder, one murder, that the concern of the people of Austin might be, well, we're going to have to wait in line to see justice here.
Oh, yeah. Listen, we're not going to wait in line. We're going to continue to work our case just like we would any other case. Houston will continue to work their case in terms of the murder, and we're not interested in, we're not going to be greedy in trying to hurt a murder case for an attempted murder case, right? There has to be a pecking order, and the pecking order is, number one, is the murder case that Houston has already very much believes they have a good case. Obviously, they've already charged the person, but that doesn't mean it's one or the other. We will work very closely with them. We will be strategic. The prosecutor's office in both cities will work very closely together, and both counties will work closely together, and I don't think it's an either-or proposition. We're a civil society, at least when it comes to law enforcement and the judicial system, and I'm sure we'll work it out very effectively.
Can you give us a sense of how you...
Are you suggesting that there may be other persons of interest and that there could possibly be a trigger man out there that is not this person?
I'm suggesting that we're not going to make any assumptions, that we're nowhere done, we're nowhere near being complete or ending our investigation. Our investigation is ongoing, it's fluid, and we're not going to make any assumptions. We're not going to rest on our laurels, because we don't just want a person that might have fired the weapon. If there's a person that drove the car, we want to bring them to justice. If there's a person that was part of a conspiracy, a person or persons, we want to make sure that our investigation is thorough enough to make that determination and ensure that everybody that played a role in attacking a mother, a wife, a daughter, a friend, a judge in this community, everybody that played a role in that prior to the attack, during the attack, and since the attack, anybody that's been harboring a person involved, anybody that has knowledge in harboring a person involved, we're going to hold them all accountable. So we're going to continue with our investigation to ensure that everyone involved is brought to justice.
Can you give us a sense of how you were able to get a lead on him?
No. We're not going to give you a sense of how we did that. I think that we've learned a lot. One of the lessons that we've, one of the most frustrating things for me as a member of law enforcement is that sometimes instead of worrying about results, we're worried how do we get there, and that really hurts us. It hurts us when, unfortunately, your job is to tell the story, and when the story talks about methods, criminals are dumb, but they're not stupid. They start learning about law enforcement methods, and guess what? They start adapting. They start changing the way they do things, and so we are not going to talk about how we got to that point. But I can just tell you.
Can you then confirm whether or not you can place him in Austin on Friday night?
We're not going to confirm that either. You're good. Where are you from?
He knows.
Can you talk? Where are you from?
Little cable station. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
All right.
Should the community still be on guard? He spoke Saturday morning about that.
I can't hear you.
They spoke Saturday morning about being on guard or being extra mindful while this is still going on, and it's kind of been that tension already.
Let me tell you, when you're in this business, whether you're a police officer, a judge, or a prosecutor, and you look and you scan around society, you scan around the annals of your business, you're going to find enough instances where prosecutors, police officers, judges, people involved in the criminal justice system end up being targeted because they're part of that system. So when you're in this profession, my suggestion to all of us is that we all have to exercise due diligence. We have to have situational awareness, and this is not a criticism or a comment on our current case. It's just part of the nature of the business that we're in, and then you add on top of that the hateful speech that you see on blogs and on social media and everything else as it relates to the mistrust and hatred towards government, and we're all part of those cogs of government, and you're part of that cog, a cog in that system that some people in their mind think is repressive. You've got to be cautious. So it is a time for caution, not just in this instance, but it's a time for caution in our nation because of the, I think, heated conversation that we have. We've kind of lost the art of, as a people, of disagreeing without becoming disagreeable. We've lost the art of expressing dissatisfaction without becoming hateful and in some cases violent. So I think that in answer to your question, Jeff, that yeah, we need to be cautious.
In talking with the neighbors, a lot of them are asking, what is the victim's description of the suspect? What are they supposed to be on the lookout for?
We don't have a, what we want people to realize is that the best way to keep a neighborhood safe is to be a nosy neighbor. The best way to keep a neighborhood safe is to know your neighbors. The best way to keep a neighborhood safe is to be involved and engage with one another so you know what belongs in the neighborhood, what seems normal in the neighborhood, and when you don't see, or when you see things that are unusual, suspicious, behavior that's suspicious, vehicles that's suspicious, something that is out of the ordinary, you need to contact law enforcement. I can say that one of the things that we want the public here in Austin If you know something, if you were in the neighborhood, if you saw something in the days leading up to the attack on Judge Kocurek, just let us know. Call the police department, let us know. No tip and no incident, it may be too minor. Let us know. It may be something, maybe nothing, but the only way we'll know for sure is for us to take a look at it.
But is there any description that you can release?
No, we don't have a description of the release at this time.
What can you tell us about a suspicious person's call that was made the day of the shooting?
I can tell you that we do have some reports of some suspicious person or persons in the neighborhood. That's part of our ongoing investigation, and we will continue to actually go down that lead to see where that leads us to. So I think that's it. Anything else? All right, guys,
Was she followed for some time at all? Can you say
that's
that?
part of the ongoing investigation.
I like to ask stuff that you can't talk about.
You're good. Thank you.
Table operator.
Which one is it?
Hey,
Ed
Jim.
Lavender, CNN.
Oh, right outside.